Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wa habiba qulubina Abul Qasim Muhammad. May peace be upon him, his family, and his righteous companions. Today we have come together to celebrate Islam, which is a religion that wants peace for the soul of the individual as well as for the soul of society. And we believe this practically and pragmatically because we believe in the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him. And we know of him as the greatest example for us. So I just want to share a few stories with you all, and inshallah I'll just wrap up my talk very briefly. But my first story is that the Prophet used to, on his way to the masjid, pass by the house of a woman, an older lady, who would wait for him at her window. And as he would walk by, we know that she would take her garbage and the rubbish that she had accumulated, and she would dump it on the Holy Prophet every time he would pass by. The nature of this man, this peaceful, loving, merciful, compassionate, and just individual, was that when it came to personal matters, he would not worry about it. He would let it go. He would shrug it off. And as she would dump this trash on him, he would simply brush off the trash and he'd be on his way. And this became a daily routine. It would happen all the time. Until one day, of course, we know that the rubbish didn't fall on him. The trash didn't fall upon him. And he looked up at the apartment window and he saw that this woman wasn't there to throw the rubbish on him. So the Prophet went to her neighbor and asked, how was she? Was she okay? Usually I get a chance to meet her every day, but I haven't seen her today. So what had happened? And so the neighbor had told him that this woman is not feeling well. So after asking permission and as such, he went to a woman's house and visited her and found her on her bed, sick, ill. And she couldn't even get up from this bed. And when this woman saw the Prophet come into her room, she became very frightened. She had thought that now this man has come while I am incapacitated, I can't move, I can't do anything. He's come to take revenge on me. He's taken revenge upon what I've done, or perhaps he'll condemn me and show me what Allah has done to me, or what has my fate now. And we know the Prophet said that I have not come to condemn you. It is the nature of Islam and Muslim people that when people are sick, we come visit them and we see what we can do for them. This woman was so awestruck by this example that the Prophet gave her, despite how she was treating him, that she accepted Islam at once. Another story, very famous story that we hear, is that the Prophet he was walking outside, strolling along, when he saw a woman who was in help. She had a few bags in her hand and she needed some help. So the Prophet, not telling this woman who he was, didn't tell her his name, he asked her, do you need any help? Can I be of any service? So the woman said, yes, you're most welcome to help me out. I could use your help. So they began walking to the destination, to her house. And along the way, she starts talking about this man who she had heard about, who had come into Arabia, or was already there, but has started preaching this religion, okay? This fitna-causing religion, this unifying religion. It's going to cause trouble. He preaches that there's one God, and this is different than what we believe in, and it's going to cause trouble. And I don't know this man, I've never met him, but I know he's a troublemaker. He's going to cause problems. So young man, the one who's carrying my bags for me, who's so kind to me, stay away from him. You don't want his influence. So you can imagine the Prophet is probably smiling, because you know how ironic the situation is. And then we see at the end, the woman kindly asks that, oh, I never got your name. Thank you so much for your help. And he replied that my name is Muhammad. Probably the same man you're referring to in your complaints and your speeches. Finally, as the Prophet was teaching Islam to his people, he would have regular gatherings in the masjid, in the mosque, where he would educate people, advise people, give them advice on how they should live their lives, how they should implement Islam. And so in this gathering, this halaqah as we call it, this circle of people, a poor man walked in and joined the circle and sat down next to a rich man. And the nature of this rich man was such that he has always grown accustomed to being rich and staying away from poor. So as this poor man sat down next to him, the rich man kind of stood up and kind of made sure his clothes wouldn't touch this poor man. Kind of separated himself from this poor man as if this man was someone to be careful of, not to sit too close to. So the Prophet, watching this behavior, he got a little concerned and upset. So the Prophet went to him and started advising him. And he would say things like, do you not know that we are all children of Adam? Right? If this poor man touches you, he's not going to make you dirty. If this poor man sits next to you, your wealth is not going to fly and jump into his pockets. So we see that with this advice that he gave him, he went on. And this man was so awestruck by the advice of the Prophet that this rich man offered half of his wealth to this poor man. Brothers and sisters, I conclude by saying that every moment of the life of the Prophet is replete with these examples. We can study them, we can see how he transformed people's lives, what he stood for, what his principles were, and he never shook from them once. So we see it's from the very life of the Prophet himself that we get these examples for ourselves. Every moment of his life is an instruction on how to live a peaceful life for ourselves, how to bring a tranquility and peace within ourselves, and how to bring this tranquility and peace within the lives of our society. Brothers and sisters, through the Prophet's words and character we can understand the meaning, the true meaning of peace, the true meaning of justice, the true meaning of mercy. So when we are peaceful to each other, when we are peaceful to one another, when we are peaceful to people around in the community, when we are standing for justice, and we are standing up for those people who have been wronged, innocently killed, around the world, whoever we are one standard. And this standard we learn from Islam. And sisters, thank you so much for your time and for the efforts of the organizers. Inshallah, I wish you all the best, and inshallah may we be successful in showcasing and standing by our principles, the principles of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Our next speaker is Sister Sarwa Hussain. She's the president of the Council on American Islamic Relations, San Antonio.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, who is most merciful, most compassionate. I pray that He will help me in getting the message across that I have learned from my beautiful religion, Islam. As we are approaching the date, September 11th, we all are going through emotions. Especially Muslims, our emotions are mostly misunderstood by many, many people around the nation, around the West. We denounce terrorism in all forms, whether they are individually sponsored, state-sponsored, or group-sponsored, does not matter. Wrong is wrong, terror is terror. Islam, as the two beautiful speakers before me said, is a religion of peace.
Thank you, sister. This concludes the Muslim Peace March. I hope this inspires you to spread the message of peace to your family and friends across the country. Thanks for your support.